All right, Hare Krishna, everyone. Please welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, verse 41. We'll start reading the text, translation, and the purport. Purtena tapasaya nair danir yoga samadhina radham nishreya sampumsam mat pritis tattvin matam. Purtena tapasaya nair danir yoga samadhina Radham Nishreya Sampumsam Matpritis Tattvin Matam. What the word synonyms? Purtena, by traditional good work. Tapasa, by penances. Yagne, by sacrifices. Dane, by charities. Yoga, by mysticism. Samadhina, by trance. Radham, success. Nishreyasam, ultimately beneficial. Pumsam, of the human being. Mat, of me. Pritihi, satisfaction. Tattvavit, expert transcendentalist. Matam, opinion. Translation purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. Purport. There are many traditionally pious activities in human society, such as altruism, philanthropy, nationalism, internationalism, charity, sacrifice, penance, and even meditation in trance. And all of them can be fully beneficial only when they lead to the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The perfection of any activity, social, political, religious, or philanthropic, is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. This secret of success is known to the devotee of the Lord, as exemplified by Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. As a good, non-violent man, Arjuna did not want to fight with his kinsmen, but when he understood that Krishna wanted the fight and had arranged it at Kurukshetra, he gave up his own satisfaction and fought for the satisfaction of the Lord. That is the right decision for all intelligent men. One's only concern should be to satisfy the Lord by one's activities. If the Lord is satisfied by an action, whatever it may be, then it is successful. Otherwise, it is simply a waste of time. That is the standard of all sacrifice, penance, austerity, mystic trance, and other good and pious work. I'll start with the prayers. Om Jnanathmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskrutam Naran Sheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome again. So in this section, So the whole chapter, I'll just give a quick summary. Lord Brahma, the first section, the Lord Brahma is praying to the Lord, the Supreme Lord, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and also he did some requests. And then in the next section, Lord's reply to Brahma, very he also offered several benedictions. In the last verse yesterday, Mataji has read, that's the Falashruti that says, whoever worships in me in such a way as how Brahma did, they will get all kinds of satisfaction, or Lord's benediction is on them. And in this last section, the conclusion, the Lord says, it's in the next three verses, he is the dearmost of all, and he's the one to be satisfied. And this is the verse. I'll read the translation again. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. So we know there are three kinds of transcendentalists. One is who realizes the Supreme Brahman, and the other one is Paramatma. And the topmost, or the we can say here as an expert transcendentalist, is the one who realized the Bhagavan feature of the absolute truth. So the Lord is saying that it's the expert transcendentalists, that's their opinion, that everything that we do, the pious activities. So there are several activities, as it was mentioned by Srila Prabhupada, for the welfare of the people, charity, philanthropy, nationalism. Nationalism is something a group or the with the common interest, the whole nation with the common interest. They don't look at their differences, but they look at the common interest, and they come together. And that extended to internationalism and sacrifices, obviously. So they all are beneficial, or fully beneficial, only if it is towards Lord Vishnu, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how a satisfying Supreme Person versus a satisfying another person can be beneficial? So it was several analogies, or several times Prabhupada gave this analogy, or even in our scriptures it says, Supreme is a whole absolute truth, and we are all part and parcels. So just like how this whole body can be considered as a Supreme Person, and our limbs and other parts of the body are considered as other people or other persons, other living entities. So we feed our whole body or the stomach to nourish the entire the other parts of the body. Similarly, when we satisfy the Supreme Person, the limbs, the other living entities, or the everyone else will be satisfied as well. There is another analogy that the tree, the root of the tree, when you pour water to the root of the tree, then the branches, the leaves, and everything else also gets nourished. Similarly, when we satisfy Lord Vishnu, so everything else also gets satisfied. In fact, there is a purport I would like to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. A second. I think it is 114. So in this verse, the Naimisharanya, in the place called Naimisharanya, the sages are doing the sacrifice, actually 1,000-year sacrifice. They're doing for the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees. So this gives a glimpse or a summary of the verse what I was reading today. Yeah. So the devotees of Lord Vishnu offers all kinds of sacrifices for his pleasure, and they're attached to the service of the Lord, whereas fallen souls are attached to the pleasures of material existence. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that anything performed in the material world for any reason other than for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu causes further bondage for the performer. So this is what I would like to highlight. So now we are doing, there are several other activities, social activities for the welfare of everyone. So those activities, in other words, Prabhupada is saying that will cause bondage to the performer, whether it is good or bad, even though it seems good externally. It, I think in several other occasions, Prabhupada said that it is sense gratification for any reason. It could be name, fame, or for any other reason, that whatever we are doing could be a subtle form of sense gratification. So this causes bondage to those who does these kind of activities in the material world. So therefore, all acts must be performed sacrificially for the satisfaction of Vishnu and his devotees. This will bring everyone peace and prosperity. And we know on the previous wars, I very much not in this politics or anything, but at least on Ukraine and Russia war, how it happened. So that's what, there is no peace by doing this is my nation, by considering nationalism or internationalism. There is always something which is temporary, and at the end, no one is peaceful. So in the next paragraph, the great sages are always anxious to do good to the people in general. So this is what devotees, or the one in Krishna consciousness, should aim to do. And they're also very anxious. They're even, I'll read further. And as the sages headed by Shaunak and other assembled at this holy place at Naimisharanya with a program of performing a great continuous chain of sacrificial ceremonies. Forgetful men do not know the right path for peace and prosperity. However, the sages know it well, and therefore, for the good of all men, they are always anxious to perform acts which may bring about peace in the world. They are sincere friends to all living entities, and at the risk of great personal inconvenience, they are always engaged in the service of the Lord and for the good of all people. So, they're not just doing because there is not much effort involved or anything. They are doing this 1,000-year sacrifice, leaving their family behind, and they're coming to this forest and performing a continuous fire sacrifice or yajna. It's a great personal inconvenience versus you giving charity to somebody and thinking that is what the benefit that you did for everyone or that person. It is. So this is what one should be aspiring for, and we know in the Kali Yuga, chanting is the yajna for us that brings good or welfare to all the people. Lord Vishnu is just like a great tree. This is the analogy I was speaking, including the demigods and all others, including the demigods, men, siddhas, charanas, vidyathars, and other living entities are like branches, twigs, and leaves of that tree. By pouring water on the root of the tree, all the parts of the tree are automatically nourished. Only those branches and leaves which are detached cannot be satisfied. So someone could say, a non-devotee especially could say that satisfying, whatever you're doing could be pleasing to other devotees. But how about us, like non-devotees? We are not pleased. So this tells, so one who is detached from the tree cannot be nourished whatever the way you can do, like pouring water just to the branch or the one which is detached. It cannot get satisfied, whatever the ways that you can satisfy. So detached branches and leaves drive gradually dissipate all watering attempts. Similarly, human society, when it is detached from the personality of God, like detached branches and leaves, it is not capable of being watered. And when attempting to do so, it's simply wasting its energy and resource. This is what I would like to show. read. Even here, Prabhupada says it is simply waste of time. If one's action is not satisfying the Lord, whatever it may be. So that is, even though it is very successful externally, but that will not bring peace, or it is simply waste of time. And Prabhupada spoke about or said something about Arjuna here is a devotee of the Lord in the Battle of Kurukshetra. We know how Arjuna is so compassionate, being kind and soft-hearted at his family relations, at his own kinsmen, and he gives several reasons not to fight and why not to fight. Principles from Arthashastra, Dharma Shastra. He brought up all the philosophies and tried to convince Krishna that I will not fight. But later on, Krishna explains very uh, gradually, like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So the middle chapters, when Krishna shows the Vishwarupa form to Arjuna, Arjuna then sees that all the arrangement made by Krishna is not because why Arjuna or Pandavas want to or Kauravas want to. It's Krishna's arrangement. And Arjuna sees that Kauravas being killed and all the other warriors in the battlefield being killed already. So this is going to happen whether Arjuna is saying yes or is going to fight or not. So Krishna shows that, and then Arjuna get convinced that this is all Krishna's arrangement. And he fought for his pleasure, his because he wanted the war, he wanted the fight. Then he understood that, and he fought the war for the satisfaction of the Lord. So so when one is trying to do an activity, one should remember Arjuna. How, what qualities does he have? Arjuna, in the Bhagavad Gita, it was mentioned that he has fully controlled his mind and senses. He is kind, soft-hearted. He's compassionate. He's detached. He's tolerant, because he also said at one point that he would rather go for begging in his life than killing his own kinsmen. So he has all these qualities, and uh, so Krishna. That's why Krishna has spoke these instructions to all of us through Arjuna, even though he put him in illusion for that time, for the brief time, to speak these instructions to the entire universe, to deliver all of us. So it's very important how we can satisfy the Lord by putting ourselves in the position of Arjuna, like what qualities that one should have in order to satisfy the Lord. And the Lord and his devotees, in the previous verse, that Naimisharanya forest, how the sages did. So they are doing the sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees. So one can also satisfy easily with the satisfying his pure devotees. So that is one of the benefit that devotees have, that they have spiritual masters, or for aspiring spiritual masters, they have an easy way to satisfy the Lord. Otherwise, it is nearly impossible to even reach to that satisfaction of the Lord. And this is the right decision for all intelligent men. So again, in Bhagavad Gita, there was in the second chapter of the contents of Gita summarized. There was this verse. I don't remember the verse, but the translation says, "That which is night for all other beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled man, and that which is time of awakening for all other beings is a night for an introspective sage." So there are two kinds of intelligent men. One is the Sthita Prajna, the self-controlled man, and the other one is the materialistic intelligence. So the Sthita Prajna intelligence is based on the soul. They want to the self-realized. They want to realize through the soul, and what they experience is pure bliss. So that is awakening for the self-controlled soul, for that stage of study mind. So that time it is a night for the materialistic men, because they cannot perceive anything through the soul. Whereas the materialistic men, uh, they they experience all this happiness, lamentation, and bewilderment, uh, because they are after this senses of satisfaction, objects, material sense enjoyment. Whereas that is night for the introspective sage, because he's not after these material pleasures. So we need to see where we are going to, where we are directed when we are doing some activities, what kind of intelligence that we are using. So we should be using that the like one-pointed intelligence towards satisfying the Lord without any material desires. So that is very important. uh, so the unintelligent man, like Vedavadarata, Prabhupada explains in one of the purpose in Bhagavad Gita, that they are completely attached. They are very much attached to the Bhoga and Aishwarya, uh, the material opulence and uh, sense gratification. So what happens when you are too much attached to that? So that will become an obstacle to our practice. That will become an obstacle to becoming of that one-pointed intelligence towards satisfying the Lord Vishnu. So there, so we need to come out of this material pleasures, and how these Vedic rituals, flowery words of Vedas, that's what they are attracted to the unintelligent men, and they do all the Vedic rituals, demigod worship, uh, and for achieving heavenly planets and good wife and whatnot. So we should be aware of what we are doing when we are performing these charities or sacrifices. And I will end with how Lord explains in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, that the Buddhi Yoga section, the Nishkama Karma Yoga. So one should do their prescribed, how to perform this, that yoga practice. So one need to perform their prescribed duty. Uh, so if it, so we cannot say we should do activities like charity and philanthropy. It is, if it is needed, and if it is for for the like sacrifices we do. So it should satisfying the Lord Vishnu. Any activity that we do should be satisfying Lord Vishnu, just like how Arjuna did his prescribed duty. As a Kshatriya, Krishna said, you need to fight even though Arjuna is not interested. So that is his prescribed duty. So one should know their own prescribed duties. One should do that, and one should not be entitled to the results of those actions. So that means one need to be detached of their activities, and one should not consider they are the cause of all these results of those actions. And one should also not attach to not doing any activity, like a karma karma. We can say, oh, this is giving me good results or bad results, then I will not do any activity. Rather, I will sit not doing any activities. That is also a sin. Um, Krishna says that akama and vikarma, uh, whether you not do or whether you do against the prescribed duties, both are sinful reactions. So we should do our prescribed duty, uh, and then we should be detached, through detached and also with knowledge. One should perform the duty and then satisfy Lord Vishnu. That is how one can perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. And then, of course, Bhakti Yoga comes, complete surrendering to the Lord, but it is gradual from one to another step. So that's all I have, devotees. Please let me know if I have, if there is any corrections to be made, or if I spoke something which is out of what Prabhupada said or out of scriptures. Forgive me for any mistakes. Please, any questions or comments, let me know. All right. Thank you for joining. Prabhu, can we close it? Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
May end, Prabhu. I made you as a host.
Okay, I'll end. Thank you.